Welcome, folks. Today we're going to take a topic right off the forums related to wrist slings. Now, there are a number of different wrist slings out on the market. I know we've used Tarantula in the past. Any of your pro shops have prepackaged, pre-configured wrist slings. But if you wanted to do it yourself, it's a really simple exercise, really cheap. I have parachute cord. This one's PMI, so you can go to pmirope.com. There's a number of online places you could get parachute cord. We get ours typically from our local Army-Navy store for probably 10 to 12 cents a foot. This is a 50-foot cut of cord, which is plenty to do a number of different strings. You can get different colors, that kind of thing. So what we're going to do today is I'm actually going to go through my relatively simple method to tie up a wrist sling, and then Matt Hogue's going to join us and go through a little different take on that. So let's get to it. So I keep it pretty simple. I just take my odd color, like I said, get it in the middle, and then I just take a piece of electrical tape to keep those three strands together. And then what I do, so I wrap that around, is I'll just take a clamp. There's a million ways to do this, but I'll take a clamp, hook this to something so that I have some tension on it, and then I'll go through my braid. So I've just kind of hooked this clamp on the end of this arrow saw, and I'm just kind of pulling on it with a little tension. This is a braid. I grew up with two sisters. I have two daughters, so I know how to braid some hair. But basically, in essence, it's going to be coming from the outside in. Doesn't matter which side you start on. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and start from my left side. So my left outside side, this yellow, I'm going to bring into the middle. Once that's in the middle, I'm going to go to my opposite side, my right side, bring that into the middle. Just keep alternating. Now left side, bring to the middle. I'm just going to kind of keep that nice and tight as I go through it, and just keep alternating left side to the middle, right side to the middle, left side to the middle, right side to the middle. And again, just like a serving knot or anything else, the more tension you put on this, the neater it's going to look. So we're going to keep doing that till we get to about, depending on how big your wrist is, you'll have to play with that. Usually just about, say about 10 inches is usually what I end up with. And I'll go ahead and once I get down to that point, cut it off. A wrist sling is something mental for me. There's really not a ton of use for it. I've just always used one, and why not make it look cool? Pick some colors out that you like, and again, this is literally a 10-minute exercise to get this all braided up and on your bow. So I said 10 inches. I probably got about 14 inches here. Quick way, I could just kind of wrap around, get an idea. Probably have a little bit extra here, which is always good. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just cut this, and then simply wrap another piece of tape right here at this end. Pull it out of the vise, and then we'll kind of get to the next step, next and final step. So again, on the quick and easy, I've got a nice braid. I usually go ahead and just kind of burn down the ends here, just kind of clean them up a little bit. What I'm going to do is actually put this through the riser of my bow. I have my 2009 Z28 here, so I go through the hole, bring it around, and literally all I do is just tape these together. It's really all you need, guys. Everyone's got a different opinion on how to do this, but I like this method because once I tape it there, and I might put another one just for strength, but that tape tends to hold that wrist sling right. So there you have it. Nice fit. Obviously not every bow is configured like this Elite. You can get a piece of leather from some of the factory wrist slings that actually come behind your stabilizer. Wouldn't tape it in that case, but you could actually just tie a knot off inside of the hole, and that would hold it into that leather strap. A couple different configurations, but for me, 5 minutes and I'm done. And so we'll see what Matt Hogue's configuration looks like, but Matt probably, as I'm looking at my bottom limb, won't tell you about the Hindu god of luck, Ganesh, which is on my bottom limb. Eliminating variables.
Two-strand braid. Yeah, just using opposing colors. The difference is I'm going to start in the middle, and it's just an over-under braid using two strands. First thing I'm going to take is my piece of cord. I'm going to measure the center just by lapping them over each other. That way I just have a visual mark of the center of my cord. Because unlike Aneal's knot, I need to leave my ends loose. And I'm just going to use a little nail. Take one color, start by wrapping it around the screw or the nail, put one piece underneath, and I'm just going to crisscross these pieces across the opposite color. So I take the blue, cross it, then I'm going to bring my yellow, crisscross it. You don't have to worry too much about tension because you're going to need a little bit of slack towards the end of the knot. And I'm just going to keep crossing the two colors like so across each other. Work these across. What you want is the two blue to lay side by side, and then you're going to bring in the yellow, your opposite color, across it and do the same thing, bringing them side by side, and then you're just going to keep repeating that as you work down the length of your cord. But you should always look, basically from the bottom of it, the two pieces laying side by side. It's going to give you a good visual to keep everything straight. Start to finish towards the end of the braid, what I'm going to do is to work out some of that slack. I started with the blue. I want to keep that around there, and what I'm doing is stretching it out, and I'm going to leave that little bit of loop in there, as you can see here, because that's what I'm going to finish everything back through. But my yellow, I'm going to work all this slack down towards the end of the braid, basically one twist at a time, by just taking my fingernail and grabbing it and pulling it. And this is just going to make it more uniform and tight where I want it. Okay, I've worked down to where I have about a ½ inch of the material left as tag ends, and you can see it forms just a cross with the opposing colors crisscrossing each other at the end. And at this point we go to the bow. Alright, so now we're just going to go through the riser hole here, and I'm just going to come from the back side. I got my finish loop here, and what I'm going to do is feed these tag ends through here color by color, and then melt the ends together, finishing the knot. And this is where care needs to be done. Anytime you're working with a flame around a bowstring, you're going to want to be careful. So I'm going to work the yellow now, get the yellow through from the opposite side, pull them around, and I want a little bit of this melted part off so I can fray it out to get them to stick solid together. And you just want to get these two melted together. And then just kind of pull it tight once it hardens up, cools down. All right, at this point we got everything melted together. We're going to pull that down into the riser to hide it, and just a different way to pimp your bow with two different colors of paracord.
All right, there you have it. Two methods to tie up a wrist sling. I'm using 3 strands, standard braid, just a little bit of electrical tape. The way I configure it, Matt showed the over-under braid using 2 strands. I do like the way it balances the colors a little bit, and there's many more options out there, but these are 2 quick and easy ways on the cheap to get your wrist sling done. And if you have ideas, visit BowCast.com, the forums. Let's hear how you tie up your wrist sling. We'll catch you next time.